In this video, I'm going to share with you a powerful secret that is employed by both drug lords and mafia bosses in order to help you break free from addiction. But before we continue, one thing is critical. You have to believe it is possible to break free from addiction, because that is where the problem begins. Most men and women who struggle with pornography have come to accept that as their fate. And for one, the belief that everyone is struggling in it or everyone is going through it. Maybe because of some funny research data that they read online that further solidifies and consolidates the grip of immorality in their lives. It's important to believe you can break free, because then it will be pointless whatever I have to tell you in this video if you're just going to take it as every other thing you've known before. But if you can reprogram your mind to see it in that perspective, then we can really get in. When you study drug lords and mafia bosses, for example, Griselda Blanco from Colombia or Nicky Barnes from Harlem, one thing is obvious in their journey from rising as petty consumers to actually exerting control over the system is that at some point in their lives they came to some sort of realization and suddenly broke free from their addictions to the products they were selling to consolidate their power and authority as the bosses over the organizations. And it's that power I want us to explore in this video. It's not necessarily something you've never heard of, but chances are you've never understood the depth and the importance of it. The principle is simple. Our quality of life rises and falls on the quality of our vision. So the higher the vision you have, the higher the standards of your life will be. And when you really think about it, you think about people who are so addicted and struggle with all these things. Generally, the quality of vision in their lives is very low, because if you really have something that is higher as an objective for you, then you'll be willing easily to sacrifice a lot of things. The principle is simple. The quality of our lives rises and falls on the quality of our vision. So one thing you notice is the vision of these people changed at some point, whether they went to prison and encountered another drug lord and he inspired them with a bigger vision of control over the system, and that bigger vision determined the bigger quality of life they could live. The ultimate question will be, what is the quality of the vision you're operating under? And that is the general tendency. People who tend to struggle with addictions for long, when you really dig down deep, there is no strong higher vision sustaining them. When someone resorts to living for the immediate pleasure, for the immediate feeling and the immediate sensation, immediate gratification, then it is clear that no higher vision runs their lives. Someone may listen to this and think, I've been struggling with porn for many years, but I have so many dreams and visions in my life. But that is the point. Many people have goals. They have objectives. I wish to make $1 million. I wish to work in this kind of companies. But if it's not compelling enough to cause a radical change in your life, it hasn't yet become a vision. And that is the point we want to get to here. The wise man Solomon tells us in Proverbs 29 verse 18, where there is no vision, the people throw off restraint, or they are unrestrained. Now it means where there is vision, people are restrained from immediate gratification. But where there is no vision, no higher call to purpose, no higher sight of life, people just live life unrestrained. They sleep with anyone, they try anything, they take anything, because there is no driving force coordinating their lives. Now pay close attention. One key factor to measure a real vision is that it is internal and not external. And that's why so many people who have thought to themselves, if they just get married, then they'll finally be free from porn, have found out the hard way that that doesn't work. The vision of a marriage greatly depends on your partner or the institution of marriage, and that will depend on how much you reverence your spouse not to want to feel like you cheat on them. And for many people as humans, we can rationalize and say, well, we're not exactly cheating, but then you surprise you to know that a good percentage of divorces cite pornography as a reason. So simply put, Satan is not afraid of your marriage. Satan is not afraid of any goal, objective, or vision that is external, that is not coming from within, it's not personal, that is not internalized, because all the factors that makes the conditions favorable for people to stay in their addictions are internal. They are not external. No one has ever said, I keep using porn because at work they tell me to do so, or because I'm going to apply for a job where it's a requirement. It's never external. It's always internal. I'm bored. I feel insecure. I don't think good about myself. I'm unable to get control of my sexual desires. I really can't keep my thoughts clean. And on and on and on. All all those are internal. So for a vision to rise and be strong enough to supersede those, that vision as well must be internal. Now, a good place to begin to develop a higher vision for your life is to ask yourself the question, why do you really want to quit doing this? Because if you don't have a good reason, you shouldn't just want to quit because of guilt. Maybe you're a Christian and though you feel bad when you go to church and you've just used porn the previous night or the previous morning. Guilt is not a good reason. As a matter of fact, guilt is no vision at all to help you break free and achieve the freedom that you really can, to help you break free. But when you can dig deep down to find a compelling life or death reason to want to break free and change your quality of life, then the higher vision will rise to the surface. Studying the life of some of these drug lords, you come to realize that they came to the realization of two things. One, they realized that this was really just a product and it was intended for the dumb masses, the sheep, while those who were the leaders, the bosses, controlled the system. So they came to a point where they had to dissociate themselves and separate themselves from this product and really ask themselves, do they want to be the dumb masses who are slaves to this thing, or they want to be the bosses that are in control and running the show? Now, though it's obvious, I just have to emphasize that this doesn't automatically mean that if you are not a slave to the system, you're the one running it, but you can learn from this principle to decide to break free from being a slave. All the things you're looking at, if you keep thinking about it just in terms of gratification and pleasure, you would lose sight of the fact that there are just two groups. There are the slaves who are dumb sheep consumers, and there are the masters who are profiting from every single dumb sheep consumer. And it takes a higher vision for a sheep to rise up and dust itself from that mud and pursue a higher quality of life. And the second realization was that it was not normal or natural for them to be addicted to this thing simply because they were around me, they operated it and all of that, because that is where the sense is. Beyond people believing that they can break free, others have accepted it as normal. You see it in movies, you see it in jokes, in comedies, in skits and memes, and people just accept that as a normal thing, whereas it is absolutely abnormal and, as a matter of fact, an abomination for you, someone created with great potentials, to be enslaved to something as futile. An interesting thing is when we point out to people that it's literally slavery to adult content, many people think to themselves, well, I'm not a slave, I can stop whenever I want. But that is the point. You think you are in control, and that is generally the most sophisticated form of slavery, because if you really believe you can stop when you want, then stop today and let's see. But the fact that that is not going to simply happen because you said you can stop when you want just enforces the depth of delusion and the depth of contraption of so many people in addiction. So self-control is good, but it's never going to be enough. Having all these boundaries and all these blockers may be great, but it's never going to be enough, because those things are external. And like I told you, real transformation is internal, just the way the real enslavement happens internally. No one has ever come and tied you up and said, watch something. The triggers, the appetite, the hunger comes from within. And so if you're going to flush and purge that, your solution, vision, a higher vision must also spring from within to overpower that. So my question to you is, what higher vision is running your life? What higher vision is there that you're willing to die for, to sacrifice everything for? If you don't have something like that, then you pretty much fall for anything. So you can either be a slave to these things or be a master working and operating free from them. The choice is yours, and you literally have the power to make that decision even right now, the moment the realization of a greater vision is achieved. If unbelievers can leverage the power in Proverbs 29 verse 18, then how much more should believers when they have access to the power of the Holy Ghost? Let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss our next video. A big thank you to our patrons for supporting this channel. You too can do the same. The link is down below. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.